All right, let's talk about The Great Gatsby. This isn't just some high school reading list book, right? It's this whole world of insane parties, deep secrets, and a huge mystery right at the heart of it all. So today, we're going to put on our detective hats and try to figure out the man himself, the one and only Jay Gatsby.
So our guide through this whole thing is a guy named Nick Carraway. He's our narrator, and right out of the gate, he throws us this total curveball. He says he scorns everything Gatsby represents, the showy wealth, the over-the-top lifestyle. But then he says Gatsby himself was exempt from that. He actually admires the guy. How does that even work? That contradiction? That's what drives this entire story. So that brings us to the million-dollar question. Who is the Great Gatsby, really? Is he a good guy, a bad guy, just some lovesick dreamer, or something else? To even begin to answer that, we have to dive headfirst into his wild, glittering, and seriously complicated world. Okay, so picture this. It's the summer of 1922. We're on Long Island, and this place is basically split right down the middle by money, class, and history. It's truly a world of difference. And this isn't just about what side of the bay you live on. Nope. It's a full-on culture war. You've got West Egg, which is all new money. Think flashy, self-made millionaires, maybe some shady Wall Street guys. And then, across the water, you have East Egg. That's the old money crowd. Families who've been rich forever. Super aristocratic. It's the show-offs versus the establishment. And our guy, Nick, his tiny little house is plopped right down in the middle of it all. So, funny enough, the story doesn't even start with Gatsby. It starts across the bay, in the heart of old money territory, with an evening at the Buchanans. So Nick goes to their place, and it's this stunning mansion. But the vibe inside is just off. It's totally hollow. You've got Tom Buchanan, who's this huge, aggressive ex-football star who's just oozing arrogance. Then there's his wife, Nick's cousin Daisy. She's super charming, but you can just feel this deep sadness under the surface. And their friend, Jordan Baker, a famous golfer, just seems bored by everything and everyone. The whole thing feels completely staged, like their perfect life is just an act. And it doesn't take long for that act to fall apart. Right in the middle of dinner, the phone rings. And Jordan Baker just casually mentions, "Oh yeah, that's Tom's mistress calling from New York." And just like that, bam, the perfect marriage facade is shattered. You see the ugly, hypocritical reality hiding right underneath all that money. This is where things get really heavy. Daisy starts talking to Nick about her daughter, and she says this, that the best thing a girl can be is a beautiful little fool. I mean, wow. What a deeply sad, cynical thing to say about your own kid. It tells you everything you need to know about her life. She's trapped in this golden cage, valued only for her looks, and she honestly can't imagine a better future for her own daughter. Okay, so after that incredibly awkward dinner, the story finally pivots. We go back across the bay to focus on Nick's neighbor, the man named Gatsby. And this is how we first see him. Not surrounded by people, not at one of his famous parties, but totally alone in the dark. Nick sees him standing by the water, reaching his arms out toward a tiny, single green light on the other side of the bay. He's just reaching. It's his incredibly powerful image of longing, and that little green light, it's going to become maybe the most important symbol in the entire book. So you have this image of him alone, but then there are the parties. Every single weekend, his house just explodes into this massive, roaring party. Hundreds of people show up, most of them uninvited, and they don't even know who he is. And because he's this total ghost at his own parties, people just make stuff up. The rumors are insane. He killed a guy. He was a spy. He's related to German royalty. It's like he's more of a myth than a man. But then Nick actually meets him, and the guy he meets is nothing like the rumors. He's not scary or weird. He's just this guy with this incredible smile. A smile that Nick says makes you feel completely understood, like it believes in you more than you believe in yourself. So the mystery just gets deeper. Who is this guy? The legend everyone talks about, or the man with that incredible smile?
But before we get an answer, the story yanks us in a completely different direction. We leave the glamour of the eggs behind and get dropped into the grim, dirty place that makes all that wealth possible, the Valley of Ashes.
Yeah, it's exactly what it sounds like. A desolate, industrial wasteland. It's this gray, dusty, smoky area between the rich suburbs and the city. It's where the working class gets left behind, literally covered in the ashes of industry. And watching over this whole miserable place are these giant, fading eyes on a billboard for some optometrist
Dr. T.J. Eckelberg. It's so creepy, like the eyes of God watching everything fall apart.
And this is where we meet Myrtle Wilson, Tom's mistress. Talk about a contrast. Daisy lives in this beautiful, airy mansion and is all grace and old money. Myrtle lives above a grimy garage in the Valley of Ashes and is just bursting with this raw, desperate energy. She's desperate to escape her life. So you have refined, distant Daisy, and then you have intense, vital Myrtle. And Tom just bounces between these two women, these two worlds, like it's nothing.
Well, things come to a head at this awful little party they have in a city apartment. Myrtle gets drunk and starts taunting Tom, saying Daisy's name over and over again. Daisy, Daisy, Daisy. And Tom, he just hauls off and breaks her nose. Just like that. It's so fast and brutal, and it just shows you the ugly violence that's always been there, right under his fancy clothes and old money manners.
So we've seen these three totally separate worlds, right? Posh East Egg, flashy West Egg, and the miserable Valley of Ashes. They seem a million miles apart. But it turns out there's one person who connects them all. And now, thanks to Jordan Baker, we're finally going to learn Gatsby's grand design.
And here it is. Jordan lays it all out for Nick. Turns out, 5 years ago, before all the money, Gatsby was just a young soldier with no cash to his name. And he fell head over heels in love with Daisy, who was the most popular girl in town. But then the war happened. He had to go overseas, and while he was gone, Daisy's family pushed her to marry someone rich, so she married Tom Buchanan.
And suddenly, it all clicks into place. The giant house, the crazy, spectacular parties, all of it. It wasn't just for fun. It wasn't random. There was a reason, a single driving purpose behind the whole thing. So why?
The reason is stunningly simple. Gatsby bought that huge house so that he would be right across the bay from Daisy. That's it. His entire extravagant world was built for an audience of one person.
I mean, just think about that for a second. He waited 5 whole years. He became a millionaire and bought a mansion and threw these legendary parties. All on the tiny, crazy hope that one summer afternoon, she might just happen to show up. It's just mind-boggling. And remember that green light he was reaching for? That was the light at the end of her dock.
So, he did it. He built an entire kingdom just to win back his lost queen. He spent years turning a dream into a reality, planning this down to the very last detail. But that leaves us with the biggest question of all. What happens now? What happens when this perfect 5-year-old dream finally smacks into the cold, hard, messy present?